Hi everyone, how are you? And I hope this lands well in your inbox. I want to talk about fitting in today. It has been such a theme, and I am so humbled and fascinated in working with the leading from your soul archetypes to see people's reactions to the work, right? And there is such a theme. This specifically speaks to the visionary archetype that is a complete rule breaker. But this really speaks to all of us. It's that part of us that really has this deep desire to fit in, right? We want to be loved and accepted and cherished, and it's this almost primal need to fit in. And some of that, and yet we can have this need fulfilled in a way without having to suppress or trying to be someone that we're not. And a big theme that I've been noticing is that this theme where we're trying to fit in, right? Fit into a box, a standard, a collective conditioning that we try desperately to do so that we can feel supported and safe, and not land up alone, destitute, and in poverty under the bridge. That's my version. And so I've also seen the magic that happens when people acknowledge they're not designed to fit in. The visionary archetype in particular is all about standing out. And the mystic also tries to fit in by being mainstream and non-woo. But yet their magic superpower is precisely being woo. So fitting in actually squelches, diminishes, and really doesn't allow space for the magical superpowers that we have to shine through so we can be more of ourselves, make more money, and help more people. So fitting in is a lie that we keep telling ourselves we have to do until we can fully acknowledge, embrace, and embody our own magic. And when we acknowledge that our magic changes people's lives, the world, our lives, our bank accounts, and we can be willing to receive all the judgments, to receive all that comes with being willing to not fit in, our lives radically transform. It makes me want to cry. It's so potent. But how do we figure out how much we're fitting in? How do we know what our superpowers are? How do we get over the fear that we're going to be burned at the stake as a mystic or as a visionary? How do we stay patient when we just want to bulldoze everything and say, fuck everything, and I just want to change everything, right? So I want to invite you to a workshop that I'm doing called Cultivating Your Magic, or Cultivating Your Magical Superpowers. I'm debating how to call it, the path to greater wealth and bigger impact, and ultimately your dream business if you're a business owner. And I would love to invite you to join me, because I see that there's nothing wrong in wanting to fit in, right? Have a house, have a husband or a wife, or those things. But not from a place of conditioning or having to, but from a place of fully expressed conscious choice. So what are you choosing, right? And what could you create if you fully allowed yourself to be you the way you are? Have you seen my weekly Facebook Lives with me dressed as Wonder Woman? It's ridiculous. And one of my biggest fears is looking ridiculous. But I am funny and cutesy and quirky and silly. It's such a part of who I am. But I've been so conditioned to fit in, to be professional, that you don't get to see that parts of me, or those parts of me, or just little snippets. But the funny part is that we're all so good at noticing where other people are not being themselves, right? Or we notice so much magic in them that they can't even see for themselves. So I want to stop that. So I want to invite you to my workshop that's happening. It's going to be 1 hour. We're going to look at what are your superpowers through the lens of the Leading from Your Soul Archetype framework. So if you haven't taken your assessment, go to PriscillaStefan.com/assessment and take it. And I want you to just start to think about, what do you do so naturally that you don't even think that it's worth anything, right? What have people told you are your innate abilities that you could probably do for free and share with people because you do it so naturally, joyfully, and easily? And what could you create in your life and in your business if you were fully just choosing you and your magic versus being focused on fitting in? What could you create in that space? If you are a mystic, what could you create by fully embracing your intuitive, creative, and healing abilities? If you are a visionary, how can you just be totally okay being loud, passionate, boisterous, completely out of the box, right? And not trying to fit in, because the worst thing a visionary can do is try to put themselves inside a box, because there is no box with a visionary. They're like, fuck that. I want to change the status quo and innovate. So they're not going to be doing things like everyone else. If you're an explorer, the last thing you can do is try to let other people's limitations weigh you down, because you're all about possibilities and no limitation. If you are a strategist, the worst thing that you can do is to deny your ability to be detail-oriented and to love processes and systems and to be a geek, to geek out on that. And if you're the divine feminine archetype, the worst thing you can do is to squelch down your feminine energy, charm, and power, either because you have not felt safe, or people have told you that you're too much. But that's so much of your ability, of your magic, that it's not there. So I'd love to invite you to join the workshop. It's totally free. Invite a friend to come join us. There will be a replay if you can't make it live. But I highly encourage you to be on Zoom Live so we can have a deep discussion, and there's a playbook here, because it's time that we awaken to our magic and to our superpower abilities, to really become the Wonder Women, Wonder Men. And you don't have to do anything with the information if you don't want to, but to stay in ignorance and to live in the lie that you don't have magic, that you have to fit in, that you don't have choice, is a choice to live in misery and mediocrity. And I know that you want so much more for yourself. So I can't wait to see you on the other side. Invite a friend, share this video with someone. And what else is possible when you cultivate your magic and your superpowers, and you're really clear on what that is, and you embody it fully. And I share more of my story about this. I'll share more of it later with you guys on the workshop, and I'll see you then. Bye, guys.